or snacks or sweets. So firstly, when a child says he is full, I want to let you know that it is a good thing for children to self-regulate when they eat. So when they are full, they need to know when to stop. When they are hungry, they need to know how does it feel and they want to ask for food. Because most of the time we will just keep feeding our kids and they do not know when are they hungry, when they should eat more. So when you keep feeding them, they have no opportunity to self-regulate. So definitely give your children a chance to self-feed whenever possible, right? But let's say he is really full, so you got to find out, and you know your child better than anyone, but if he's really full, then you will have to believe him. But if you see that he's trying to be a bit cheeky, he is not finishing his food all the time, and he has been eyeing the snacks or certain sweets, then he is getting into a power struggle with you. So when that happens, you want to be firm with your boundaries. So those of you who attended my webinar, I talked about how you need to be really firm, because if you don't, children do not feel safe. Okay, so what I want to share with you is, if you do not want your kids to have those snacks or sweets, you have to put them away. Do not make them accessible for your kids. And it also depends on how old your kids are. If they are old enough, you might want to discuss with them the rules about eating sweets or snacks in the household. If they are too young, you can still set certain rules. Let them know that probably they can only eat the sweet at maybe tea break, or snacks at tea break, right? Also, depending on how old your child is, you need to educate him on the importance of a balanced diet. Right, I'm going to pause for a while because okay, so I'm going to go on. So in this situation, first of all, you want to put away the snacks and sweets if you do not want your son to look for it. Secondly, you want to educate your children about the importance of a balanced diet. Sorry, I'm just reading the message and you guys say it's lagging. Okay, so let your child know why a balanced diet is important. What do the foods give you? I tell my kids that rice is a good source of carbohydrates, chicken and meat is a good source of protein, and when they drink milk, they get calcium, it builds their bones. I know many parents will think that my children are still young, they do not understand terms like carbohydrates or protein. But if you do not expose your kids to these words, they will never know. There was one day Charlotte told me that, "Mommy, if I eat this chicken, I can get protein." But I already finished my protein. So she may not truly understand what protein is, but because I've been talking to her about how food is important, when we read books, we talk about how food is a source of energy, that's where you can educate your child and get them to be intrinsically kind of like motivated to want to eat. And there are a lot of factors when it comes to eating. It's not so straightforward where children have to obediently sit there and eat, because it requires a lot of coordination of the muscles and the digestive system, and different organs are all working together from the tongue all the way down to the stomach. So I don't want you to create more stress for your kids during meal times, right? So I hope that you can give them an enjoyable experience. Eat with your kids, make it a social activity, and talk to them about the importance of food. Okay, so this is one question. The next question, right? When we leave the dining table after 30 minutes, my child still takes a very long time. Do we just let him eat slowly for an hour or longer? Now, maybe in the box right now, let me know how long does your child take to complete his meal? Right? Type in how many minutes does he take to complete his meal, and we will see whether you are really most of you are spending like a long time at dinner or lunch. So what I read the ideal time for them to finish eating is between 15 minutes to 30 minutes. And the reason why this mommy asked the question, probably because I shared about how I set a 30-minute timer for my kids. And it is a visual timer. They can see the length of the time ticking down, so they know that after 30 minutes, mommy and daddy will leave the table and they have to eat on their own. My son at 6 years old, he is more competitive, so he will really try to finish his food fast. But my daughter, Charlotte, she loves to talk. She's very happy during meal times. She can talk non-stop, but the problem is she's not chewing her food. So after 30 minutes, we let her sit there and eat on her own. We tell her that, you are taking longer, we have to go on to get stuff done. The first few times we tried this, she wasn't very happy about it. She started to climb down the seat, getting our attention, walking around the house. So at the first time we tried, it didn't work. But I believe that it takes a while for kids to adapt. So it doesn't work the first time around doesn't mean you should just, change the strategy. We continued to do that, and I spoke to her. I said, you feel very lonely after 30 minutes? She said, yes. Do you want mommy and daddy to sit with you after 30 minutes? She said, yes. So I let her know, why don't we try this? Tomorrow, you eat a little bit faster so that you don't need to stay here after 30 minutes. And the next day, I reminded her of how she felt lonely at the table, and she ate her food really quickly. So there has to be a lot of coaching. It doesn't happen immediately. It's not like you try a strategy and it will work every single day. In fact, it might work most of the time, but there will be times when your child probably just feeling a little bit more tired or just want your attention a little bit longer. Okay? So do we let him eat slowly for an hour or longer? I recommend to just keep it maximum 45 minutes. Yeah. Okay, so what you can do is to teach your children how to eat. Eating is not a natural behavior. After, let me see, is it 6 months or 12 months, right? You have to teach your children how to eat. So think of a classroom setting where, this is what I learned. This is not my idea. This is from the SOS therapy that I watched. Pretend that mealtime is it's a class. So you are the teacher and your kids are the students. And the subject you're teaching is not math, it's not science, it's food. So as the teacher, you wouldn't leave your child, your student there to figure out how food works or what is food. You will be guiding, teaching, making the lesson fun, making him want to come for class. So similarly, at every mealtime, you want to talk to your kids about food. Like what I mentioned earlier, the nutrition, talk about where it comes from, how it is made, how did you buy it, how did you cook it. As a teacher, you also want to teach your children how to chew their food. So you will want to get them to learn how to scoop, put it in their mouth, and chew. What I do with my kids, I try to make the activity, the mealtimes fun. So I eat with them, I say, okay, let's do this together. 1, 2, 3. We scoop together, we put it in our mouth, and we start chewing. And I say, are you ready? So I make it into like a song, like, we are going to eat one more mouth. Take the vegetables and the rice. I know it's a bit lame, but yeah, the kids do it, and all three of us, okay, I finish my food faster obviously, but they finish within like 15 or 20 minutes. Yeah. So when we make it fun, the kids enjoy it, they don't sense the stress. However, on the other hand, if you stress them at meal times, can you eat one more mouth of the vegetables? You are not chewing your food. Look, there's still so much of the rice left. You have taken 45 minutes. Why are you still not eating? And some parents will even compare to other kids. Do you know other kids, they eat very fast, but you are eating so slowly? Now imagine those words. They do not help the kids, number one. Number two, it creates extra stress. And when you create stress, there are physiological changes to the body. Right? When you create stress, apparently the appetite part of the brain, I read, it shuts off. And the blood flows to the digestive system, is directed to the arms and the legs, because the children are going to get into the fight and flight mode to cope with the stress. This is research. This is brain science. So if there's one thing for you to take away today, it's not to nag and stress your kids during mealtime. Even as adults, we don't like people to nag at us when we eat. We don't want to feel stressful when we have to eat. We want to sit down, relax, and enjoy our meal, savor the food, get our favorite drink. Our kids want that too. Okay, so I don't want you to exert pressure. Back off and stay really calm. Okay, so that's what I want to share. Of course, when your kids are taking too long, you need to make sure that there are no distractions at the table, right? There shouldn't be a toy, there shouldn't be a book, there shouldn't be any other gadgets. And of course, as parents, we have to role model. If you are constantly looking at your phone during meal times, it is very difficult for a child to focus. They will be distracted too. I know one of my students, he told me that he will put the phone away from the dining table, as because of that, he's managed to focus and be present with the kids. I thought that was a brilliant idea. Okay, all right, so let me answer your questions before I go into the third part. So that Sher in the corner said, "Hi Jacinth, what if my 7-year-old says he doesn't care if he's unhealthy, he just wants to eat all the biscuits and junk food that he wants?" Now, when your child says things like that, you do know that he may not be thinking logically. The only way for your child to cooperate with you is when he feels that you can understand him. If you are standing opposite him, you are on the opposite team, you are not with him to acknowledge that he really doesn't like to eat, the healthier foods, then he is not going to cooperate, right? And if you have been engaging him with lots of power struggles whenever it comes to eating and food, you're always nagging him and reminding him about that, he is not going to cooperate, and he will definitely say, "I want to eat biscuits." And this is the age at 7 years old where they are so independent. They want to do everything on their own. And that is developmental. They have to, learn to exert their authority. They want to gain power. This is what I talk about a lot during the webinar. Yeah, so I recommend you not to pressure your child, but rather, if your child insists on eating just biscuits and junk food, show him the facts. In fact, if you Google, there was this boy in, I can't remember which country, his eyes, he turned blind eating too much potato chips and soft drinks or something. I can't remember the exact details, but just go and do a quick Google, read the article to your child. I know some parents will say, aren't you just scaring him? You're just making him scared of eating just biscuits and junk food. Well, we are just presenting facts. It might scare him, but let him know that mommy and daddy will be here to help you, right? We want you to grow up healthy. We want you to be strong. We want you to have energy to continue to play your favorite Lego or go for a run. You want to be able to play soccer. You need the energy. So educate, okay? Now, I asked about how long your child takes to finish the food. Hearts the Thought said 1 to 2 hours, normally 45 minutes to an hour. I think max an hour. You don't want to go longer than that. Yeah, because it will reinforce your kids' idea that, they can just take their time and eat. What we want to is to teach them, let them enjoy the food, the eating experience, okay? Momo Sakura said 20 minutes. Francis, hi Francis, he said more than 45 minutes can stretch to 1 hour plus. Right, so when you try the strategies, I want to remind you not to take make drastic changes. Take baby steps and look for progression rather than perfection. So if he has been eating, taking 45 minutes, as long as he, managed to eat a bit faster, maybe 40 minutes, you want to celebrate it and encourage them, rather than still saying, "You still take so long," right? I've been sitting here for so long, mommy has been waiting for you. These are not constructive feedback for your child. You want to encourage them. Sahaya said half an hour, Hoa Ling said 40 minutes, Alisa said 45 minutes to an hour, Alice said 30 to 45 minutes, H Min said 1 hour plus. Diane said, that's my situation. 1 hour when at home with no devices to distract him. In preschool, 20 minutes. Diane, I believe there are no distractions or devices in preschool. And he takes 20 minutes. Children who can feed themselves in school, when they are not feeding themselves at home, it simply means it is a power struggle, right? They want to get your attention. They want you to be agitated and frustrated because that is their way of gaining power. They don't do it intentionally. Their brain requires them to feel good when they are in control. So you don't want them to gain that, you want to empower them in healthier ways, right? Rather than you feeling angry and agitated. Francis said visual timer occasionally works. She was there at the timer and daydream. Sounds like my girl Charlotte. She can just stare into space. So what I do is to gently tap her to bring her back and remind her. I try not to nag at her. I use hand gestures. So if she tends to put her legs up when she eats, so what I do is to tap her leg and she will put it down. She'll bring it up again, but I will still tap it. So I'll just keep doing it so that she will realize. Farang said, my 2-year-old refuses all the homemade food I make. Tried to present small bits of food, still no, only milk and cookies. I've heard that you got to expose your kids to at least 20 times before they'll be willing to eat. Right? So Farang, do not be disappointed. Continue to present your homemade food. Your job is to present the food and your kids' job is to eat the food. So don't stress about how much they're eating and what they're eating. As long as you present everything that's healthy, they're going to have a healthier intake. Okay? Diane said, my 4-year-old too, he talks a lot and forget the task at hand. That is to eat first. Yes. I don't think it's a bad thing that kids like to talk a lot. It means that really sociable and they're really excited to be with you at dinner time. But we got to bring them back. So using non-verbal gestures might help. Okay. Oh, who is this? I don't know how to pronounce. SHX. She said, I tried your method today and she finished her food within 15 minutes. It was the best meal time of my life. Okay, right. I think you watched my webinar, right? So I shared many tips in the webinar. So if you haven't got the link to the webinar, there's a replay. It will expire tomorrow. Please drop me a direct message. I'm very happy to send you the link because a lot of parents have picked up tips and they tell me they learned so much. And I feel really good sharing that because I do put in a lot of effort for these Power Struggles webinar content, right? I feel like I put in a lot of case studies. I try to make it easier for you to understand. So go watch the webinar. Okay. All right, let me scroll. Okay. Inyo Singh said, today we tried showing her the preparation of food in kitchen and sit together to have dinner as a family. But she still needs me to feed her at certain times. I need to scoop for her before she self-feeds. So it depends on how old your children is. We don't want to give them the entire responsibility of feeding on their own when you have been feeding them all the time. So again, take baby steps. So you can tell your kids, mommy's going to feed you. In fact, you can empower her. Do you want mommy to feed you for 5 miles or for 6 miles? And she said 6 miles. So you feed her for 6 miles and then she eat on her own. Or you can do it alternately. So you feed, she feeds herself, you feed, she feeds herself. Or you can first tell her that mommy has been feeding you for 5 miles. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to scoop the food, put it on the spoon, and you take and feed. So you progress slowly to get them to self-feed. You don't want them to jump from you feeding them to all the way to they have to be independent. Okay? We love day out, said my 2.5 months old likes to 2.5-year-old likes to break his meal time. He will eat his meal portion half and have a quick break and then come back eat again, but he still doesn't finish the whole portion that was given to him. So my question is, are you okay with your child eating halfway, going off for a break and coming back? If you're okay with that, yeah. But if you are not, then you have to be really firm with your boundaries. So set rules. I tell my kids that when they're not done, they cannot come off their high chair. obviously they don't do this all the time. Sometimes they get so excited, they want to get some water, or they see, like just today Daryl like wanted to go to the toilet to pee, and Charlotte said I also need to pee so she came down as well, but quickly they came back up. So we want to be firm with our boundaries but not too rigid. For example, we saw the national flag flying past with the helicopters, and the kids wanted to go and take a look, so they were having their meals halfway, and I will let them go and watch because this is like a short while and they're excited about it, but then they do come back. So that's what I mean by being firm but not rigid. Okay, Nicole Sim said food is ready, but my girl 3-year-old still keep asking for milk and don't want to eat her food and keeps crying. I believe there's more to that when she just wants the milk. Maybe we want to make the eating experience more enjoyable. I'm not sure what kind of food that your girl likes or do not like. What you can do for a child who doesn't want to go to the dining table at all, maybe present something that she likes together with the rest of the food. Okay, Alice said my child is not a rice person, but he eats it way quicker and enjoys it more when I shape it into a ball shape. He is almost 4 years old, so I guess food presentation appeals to him. Actually, Alice, do you know what you are doing is to appeal to the part of the brain that enjoys novelty. So there's this part of the brain where you present something new that's attracted to colors, different shapes, and anything that is not familiar, right? Something new to them. The kids will want to learn more, and it kinds of allow the brain to process information and bring it to long-term memory. So at least, yes, when you redesign the food a little, in fact you can actually use different placemats for the kids as well, or get them to choose their favorite bowls or spoons. Okay, what is the best way to control your temper when you get frustrated by the kid in the meal time? Right, this part about controlling temper takes a lot of intention on your part. So you really need to stay calm by reminding yourself that you are the adult. So there are a few ways to do this. I teach them in the course with my students. My main focus is to get parents to calm themselves. I know there is this mommy who said that, oh, our little playnest is always asking us to stay calm, and I'm happy to hear that, which means that you guys get my point. We don't want to be the one throwing the adult tantrums. So there are a few ways that I teach the students in my course how to stay calm. Number one, I continuously educate them. I know some of my students are on this IG live as well. So educate yourself about your kids. Why are they behaving in a certain way? Do you know how to get to find out the underlying reason? And when you know that, you remind yourself, you can say a mantra to yourself and breathe or take a time out so that you do not get frustrated. There are many ways to do that, and that is actually one of my goal, to help parents to calm down, because I wasn't this calm and I was clueless. I'm always shouting at my kids. I'm always frustrated with my kids during mealtime. I told my husband when Daryl was younger, I said, I really don't like to eat with Daryl. I said that. I still remember. Because it's such a stressful time to get him to eat. I have to sit there more than an hour and he's just not eating. I have to keep feeding him. He's not chewing. Yeah, it was horrible. Okay, Xiangni, my 2-year-old ate halfway. He will come and wants to climb out of her high chair. What if they insist to come down from the high chair and cry and start to climb out? Should we let them come down? Well, we want to be firm with our boundaries. So if they're not done, they do not come down. Okay? If your child insists on coming down, set your own boundaries. For me, I will say that it means that you're done with your food. You do not want to eat it anymore. And mommy has to put it away. And I follow through. Okay? So when the child knows that the boundary cannot be tested, they will stop pushing your buttons and they will try other ways, but you just need to stay firm. Okay? Beat said, my 2-year-old gets restless after a few miles, especially towards the end of the meal, and I find myself repeating a lot to ask him to stay seated. When you repeat, that is your weak spot. Your child will use that to his advantage to push the boundary and to gain power. So do not nag, alright? No matter what, you gotta be really unruffled. How can you avoid repeating yourself? There has to be a lot of you need to be very conscious about the things that you do. Maybe you can ask your husband or your partners to give you a signal that, hey, stop, you're repeating, or something like that. Okay, that you can get someone else to help you. Okay, Sunflower say, I usually let my son continue eating after an hour as I'm afraid he is not eating enough if I impose a time limit. How do we ensure that they are eating enough? Do not look at the intake in a meal. Look at their intake for the whole week. As long as they get to eat some vegetables, their fruits, enough carbohydrates, proteins, vitamins, minerals for a whole week, it should be okay. And of course, you want to look at their weight and whether they're active, they are not tired every day. Yeah. Rachel, my son prefers chicken skin than meat. How do I encourage him to eat it together? Oh, so cute. Do not serve just you can choose. Okay, do not serve chicken meat with chicken. I cannot split this. Okay, I'm just thinking how am I going to split the food. How to encourage to eat it together? Can you scoop it together and get him to I don't know, sing a song or show him that it goes together, and let him know why meat is good for him, and maybe chicken skin has to be eaten in moderation because perhaps it's too oily. I'm not sure how old your son is, Rachel, but I think I will come from an educational point of view. But this is the one good question that I have never come across before. Okay. Alice, how do I back off gracefully in a power struggle when child continually disregard and ignore the boundary? When your child continuously ignore, that means there is a deeper reason. There's a deeper unmet need. We all want to build that relationship with our child. Remember, your relationship is more important than him not eating, than him trying to get down the high chair. When you let your child feel hurt and seen, he is highly likely to cooperate because he feels that he can trust you. Okay, so how do you back off gracefully in a power struggle? Stay really, really firm and follow through the consequences. Okay, all right. Arrows and Olive said, my 2.5-year-old is very messily. How do I set boundaries so that he eats more neatly? My 14-month-old girl also sometimes throws the food while self-feeding. How to set the boundary at this age? So 2.5-year-old, when they eat messily, it could be them trying to explore the textures, which is not a bad thing because we want them to expose their senses, as many senses as they can to the food. And what you can encourage them to do is to role model and to do it for him, show him and get him to practice and pretend play what you have just did. Or in fact, not pretend play, but really just do what you have been demonstrating. For a 14-month-old who is throwing food, how to set boundary? Repeat and tell her, food on the table, food on the table. Just repeat this all the time and they will get it. Okay? Alright, I have just one more question, and this is something that is really tough. Now, let me know if you face this as well. Okay? If I have firm boundaries, but my husband, helper, and my in-laws are not firm enough, they give in easily, they will feed, use snacks to coax. How do I ensure it to be effective? Do you face this problem at home, or if you stay with your in-laws? Okay, so I can understand how tough it is when there is inconsistency, and this inconsistency is not going to help your child, because your child can sense that with you they're going to behave in a certain way, and when your grandparents are around, they're going to behave in another way. When helper is feeding them, they will also behave differently. Do you face this problem too? This is a problem that has got to do with the adults. It has nothing to do with the child. Your children are innocent. They are just really adaptable. They know whose buttons they can push, and who will be more strict with them. So since this is an issue with the adults, I strongly recommend you communicate with your parents-in-law or your parents or your husband, to let them know that you have read that you got to be firm. The kids are going to continuously not follow the rules. There has to be a lot of communication. If you are not comfortable with speaking to your parents-in-law, get your husband or your wife to do it, okay? And I think it will be good to educate them as well, rather than telling them, because they grow up in an environment very different from ours, and grandparents usually tend to dote on their grandchildren more, right? They can't bear to see their grandchildren suffering or crying. So you got to let them know about your boundaries. It is really not their fault that they tend to give in, but you have to really tell them. Another way is, if you are just not comfortable, let them know that you're going to take over. You say that, okay, he doesn't want to eat, I will take over, it's okay, thank you. Then you let them know that they can excuse themselves. So there's definitely going to be a lot of communication, okay? Diane said, my mother, she's always feed or scoop for my 4-year-old when I'm helping him to eat independently. So like how we all lack that self-control, maybe grandparents too feel that, they want the child to have enough nutrition, they want the child to grow up well and healthy. That is the reason why they're always feeding them. So let him know, or let your parents know that, okay, you're going to take over, something like that, okay? Neo Singh said, yes, my own parents, they agree. When I communicate, when the kid melts down, they give in. It's so tough. I agree, it's very tough when grandparents will keep telling the kids it's okay, don't cry, and keep giving in, when all your child needs is someone to acknowledge how they feel, not to provide a solution, okay? So I hope you are able to communicate with your parents. But I do have a tip. If your child is old enough, let him know that you have certain rules in the family, and when it's time to eat, we do not get down the chair, something like that, and get them to repeat to you. And let her know, if grandparents says that you can calm down, tell him that we have a rule, we are not allowed to come down our seat. But if your kids are still young, this might be a bit tougher. And maybe in terms of them using snacks to encourage the kids to eat, let your kids know, alright, you want to have the snacks, yes you can, but you can only do it maybe on fixed days, maybe Monday, Wednesday and Friday. So let your child be in charge, and let him be responsible to tell the grandparents not to do, okay? Ripped Polaroid said, I have the opposite problem. My boy eats very poorly with me, but eats well with my mother-in-law. She feeds him and will keep talking to him, let him meddle with her phone. I'm not sure this means that your kid is eating well with your mother-in-law, because playing with phone while eating is not ideal. So I don't think he is eating really well in that sense. I'm not sure how old your boy is, but when you say he eats poorly with you, what does it mean? Like, is he talking? Rip Polaroid said, I have tried her method of letting him meddle with the phone and distract him with other things, but still no use. Okay, when you start providing distractions, that is really a source of power struggle, and it will not end. They will ask for more things. They don't want to eat. I recommend no distractions, and just letting them to enjoy the whole eating experience. He spits out the food, right? Let him know, food in your mouth, and if he doesn't want, he has to say, no, I do not want, rather than spitting out the food, okay? All right, yeah, any last questions for me to address? Okay, so this, if you have missed the front part, not to worry, I cover in detail in my webinar. And if you want the replay link, just drop me a direct message. I hold the webinar because I wanted to let you guys know how you can educate yourself, and once you learn how to be confident, when you learn why your children behave in a certain way, it's so much easier to parent and get your child to cooperate. And that is the reason why I'm so passionate about teaching parents this. I didn't have this help when I was a first-time mom. I still remember I was struggling so badly, and I wish someone would tell me what to do, right? But right now I want to be the person to tell you what you can do, and it's not based on my own experience. It is based on science and research to encourage science and research, so that when you parent, you know what you're doing is right. You don't fear that you are making a mistake, or you don't think that, oh, my parents-in-law say this and I have to do this. You have your own opinion about how you parent. You know the parenting style, the parent that you want to be after you're educated. So that is the reason why I'm constantly up here sharing with you guys and helping you guys. Okay, all right, so 2 more questions before I head off. Nicole said, my husband, my girl don't want to eat food, keep crying, only want milk, then her father will go to serve her milk. So Nicole, there's a lot of coaching to be done to your husband, all right, not your child, nothing to do with your girl. So both parents have to parent on the same page, and this is something that I also feel so passionate about. I have transformed the mindsets of a lot of daddies through my course. I've spoken to them personally, and I feel so heartened that they are willing to put their ego aside and really learn how to be a better father. That is really amazing. Right, so at this point, I also want to highlight that if you haven't followed me, you haven't received my emails, I've been talking about how I'm opening up a new class for my course, From Yelling to Connecting. That is the chance for me to guide you through, to support you, to cheer you on, to be your mentor, so that you are able to go through these 4 weeks. Just 4 weeks, you are going to observe a transformation if you take action. And I can say this with a lot of confidence because I have helped so many parents do it, and I'm so proud of my students. I don't normally open up the course often. In a few months, I open it once because I really want to focus on helping you. So if you do, you're on the fence right now, you don't know whether you should, take a leap to improve your parenting, okay, ask yourself, what kind of parent do you want to be? Okay, and I want to be there to help you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop me a direct message. All right, Francis is a student. He's one of the daddy who has transformed from being one with a hot temper to now he hasn't been yelling. He said it's difficult not to yell, and it's very tempting not to yell because Francis has gone through the modules, gone through all my coaching calls. I hope, because I do a coaching call with, like what I'm doing now. I use your questions and I answer them, and it really feels good to know you're not alone, number one. Number two, you get the support. You don't feel that it's me, I'm a lousy parent, and you realize everyone else is experiencing that too. So my goal, right, is to get parents who are like-minded to come and support one another, to form this support group that you cannot find anywhere else. People who understand your culture, the way your children are going to be brought up, and people who believe in having high expectations for their kids while empathizing them. Okay, so if you are keen, I welcome you. All right, I am going to close doors tomorrow. Any questions, again, if you are sitting on the fence, you don't know what you should do, just drop me a direct message. I'm opening up my message inbox for you. Okay, all right. So, I think I missed out one question. Flo Lee said, how can we encourage a child to eat vegetables? Do you like to eat vegetables? That's my question to you guys. Most of us will eat it. Okay, there will be a group of you who really enjoy it, no doubt. There'll be a group of you who eat it because, it's good for your health. And of course, there'll be a group of you who try not to eat it whenever you can, right? For our children, okay, for some reason, the vegetables just feels different from the meat and all, perhaps it's the taste or the look of it, and you want to encourage your children and to eat it. For me, right, definitely to educate them why you need to eat vegetables instead of forcing them. Some parents like to blend it and hide it inside their food. I'm not saying you cannot do that. In fact, it is okay to do that, but I feel that you should always try to teach them why they should eat vegetables. So read a lot of books. You can do certain play activities about vegetables, get them to be a vegetable seller in your play kitchen, and get them to tell you what vegetables, what are the types of vegetables there are and how they help you. Okay, so yes, I think that's all that I want to say. Can you let me know one takeaway from today's session? Type it in the comment box. One takeaway that you learned from this 40-minute session. Momo said yes for me. Even when I'm in secondary school, then I will eat vegetables. Yeah, so it takes a while. We got to be patient. Think about yourself. If you are in the kids' shoes, perhaps you just need a little bit more time. All right, so one takeaway for today's session before I say goodbye. I know there's a lag, so I'll just wait for a short while. Alada Razi said, thank you for the useful information. You are most welcome. Again, like I mentioned, I really feel like parents, if you struggle or what, there is help. You just need to reach out. You just need to learn and make sure whatever you learn is of course right, correct, backed by research. Yeah. And that's how you continuously improve as a parent. Joy of setting and sticking to boundaries. Yes, that's one thing, very important. And Sang said, educate myself, educate the kid, and help me a lot. Yes, I like that. Educate myself, educate the kid. Yeah, I can coach my kid to self-feed by progressively discussing the number of mouths she feeds versus I feed. Good idea. Can you let me know how it goes tomorrow when you are having meals with your kids? Let me know if there's an improvement. Okay, Yising? Hey Yo said, stop nagging. Yes, stop nagging and get someone to let you know, like, no, cut, stop nagging. Momo Sakura said, I need to rewatch, I miss out a lot. I will try to upload this later in IGTV. Okay. Hearts the Thought said, thank you. I need to try to make eating fun and educational. Great. Jessa said, nagging does not work. Yeah. Beep said, we are the adults. Exactly. Right. We are the adults. We want to engage our higher order thinking brain rather than using our reptilian brain and yell at our kids or nag at our kids. Just don't repeat. Remember, we can't repeat. Okay. Jack said, she learned that communication between adults is key to bring up happy and well-balanced kids. Exactly. And it's so good if both parents can be on the same page as they parent and communicate with the kids. One of my students tell me that when her husband and her have this agreement about parenting, the kids are very quick to realize, and it actually brings the relationship, weakens the relationship, and the adults, the wife and the husband, they're actually quite distant if there's a lot of disagreement and unhappiness. Joanna, I have tried your method to being calm and it really works quite well. My sons slowly understand and listen to what we teach them. That's great. Yeah, very importantly, the first step is us. Parenting is not about your kids, it's about us. That is why I focus so much on teaching you guys about how you should self-regulate and be an informed parent, how to parent with the brain in mind. This is the first module of my course. When I teach my kids, my students, we lay the foundation right, we change our perspectives, and that's where I teach parents how to go on to communicate and get your children to slowly listen and understand you. Okay. Joy or App said, thank you for the sharing. Alice said connection. She learned about connection. Diane said, have learned to stay calm, like seeing how my meltdown affects him. I like the visual timer idea and will try this progression for my 4-year-old eating. Let me know, Diane, how it goes. Sunflower said, do not stress the kids when eating. Very good. Emily said, there's power struggle because kids like to feel in control. Exactly. Okay, so we don't want a power struggle. I want you to step out of the power struggle. Do not set the stage for a power struggle. You got to be really calm. Francis said, gaining cooperation from your spouse and in-laws. Let them know you are taking charge for a while to test if this new method works. If it works, then follow suit. Yeah, I think that's good. Like, you let them know what you are doing and get them to come on board as well. Okay. Xiao Jun said, thumbs up. Arrows and Olive shared that she learned to stay calm and keep the boundaries. Use a timer. Xiao Tian said, not sure if I missed the front. If I don't repeat and nag, can I get my almost 6-year-old to follow instruction? If you don't repeat and nag, your 6-year-old will not wait for you to repeat and nag. But whether he will follow your instruction depends on whether he feels that you're connected to him or not. That's the reason why the relationship is the most important of all. Okay? Thank you. Always love watching your live videos and webinars.